How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Whiskey Here. Today we're going to be doing some bourbon hunting. I got the man Grant with me. He's going to be behind the camera, but we're going to be going to, I think, Brasseux's Hardware. It's a hardware store that sells liquor. It's been a long time since we've been in there. And then we're also going to go to Champagne's, but in Abbeville. It's also been a few months since we've been in there. I hear both stores might have some new picks, some interesting things on the shelf. We'll see you there. All right, we're standing in front of Brasseux's. This is Brasseux's Hardware. Again, this is a hardware store that got their liquor license to sell liquor. We'll go inside and check it out. Yesterday, I was actually in here to get some electrical stuff. We're doing things on my patio. I need an electrical box, so we came here. There's paint, cleaning supplies, barbecue supplies, like this big pit. But behind you here, we're gonna walk and take a look now. This is the Wall of Bourbon, also in a different location than it was the first time we filmed here. Maybe half a year ago, 6 months now, that's the last time we came, but let's get to it. Okay, High and Wicked, $76.99, $76.99. This is $66.99, $66.99. These are cash strength, and these are the standards. So High and Wicked actually just sent me both the rye and the bourbon, and I was a huge fan. One of the straight rye stuff I found interesting is on the back here, distilled by New Riff Distilling. I'm a huge fan of New Riff, especially when it comes to their rye mash bill stuff. And this is also an age-stated product, and it comes in at 5 years old. So essentially, you're getting a 5-year-old New Riff product from High and Wicked. But I was a big fan of both of these that came in. Have you had the cash strength? And if you did, what did you think of it? Let's see. Henry McKenna tin down here for $72.99. This is one that's now a little bit more accessible. I remember when I was first getting into bourbon, you couldn't find McKenna tin anywhere. Salson cash strength rye. This is $72.99, and down below there's Maker's 46 cash strength. These are $65.99. I still haven't had the new one yet, which I think is, I don't remember if it was this one with the black or it's all red label, but I love the Maker's 46 cash strength stuff. I'm a big Maker's fan. If there was one on the shelf, if you're looking for an everyday sipper and you're trying to get into Maker's, but you really haven't had a good one yet because you've only had the regular standard, or maybe the cash strength, and I know the cash strength's not for everybody, this one right here. Maker's Mark 101, this store has it for $39.99. Anything under or around 40 bucks is gonna be exactly the price that you should pay. Maker's Mark 101. It used to have like a nice little gold label or gold lettering, but this is one of my go-tos, everyday sippers. It's great in cocktails, fantastic weeded bourbon. Wild Turkey Red Breed for $60.99. Down here, we're just talking about New Riff. They have the rye and the bourbon for $52 and then $67. Green River, the rye, the weeded, and the bourbon here, next to a couple of Bardstown offerings as well. Up top, Wilderness Trail, huge fan of the rye. The bourbons are just so wild. I know they use so many different yeast strains. I'm a huge fan of just, in general, this brand as a whole. And I recently got a pick from a store in New York City. They sent me one of their picks, and it was the wildest thing. So it tasted like whiskey, but it left your tongue feeling like you just drank hot sauce. It was weird. This is crazy to see still on the shelf. $175. I do think MSRP on these were around $150, so a little bit higher, but definitely cheaper than secondary. But this is the Fred Minnick Big Game Pick. So this was what Fred Minnick did for the Super Bowl, but it looks like they have 3 of these left. K-Luke single barrels. Not often that you see a K-Luke single barrel, especially one picked by Fred Minnick. So they got that here. They have Batch 4 rye. I think that's brand new. Batch 4 is the brand new rye from K-Luke. We actually got to talk to Jonathan Mazzano at the Spillway event. If you haven't checked out that video, make sure you check that one out. We went to the huge bourbon block party in Brandon, Mississippi. There was like over 1,000 people. Also recently tasted this Cabernet barrel finish from K-Luke. We tasted this at Mendenhall Wine and Spirits, which is another video you should check out. That was on the way to the big event. Batch 3 toasted, batch 10 of the bourbon. I got batch 9 and 10 at home. Huge fans. And at the barbershop, Stoney has batch 9. But when we were together at the barbershop, we tasted K-Luke. It was batch 6 of the K-Luke, and that was by far the best I've had for me. 91 bucks. You either see these at like this price, like $89 or $99. I did not know that he had a single barrel of it though. I'm gonna have to ask him about this. But he does have regular 9-year and then their pick of it as well. Man, this is tempting. I have so many of these at home though, but you can't go wrong with these. There's probably the best MGP juice right now for the price, along with Nashville Barrel Company. But Nashville Barrel Company, their stuff's like 150 plus. This one is normally sub $100. That is, I'm gonna text them. That's awesome. Collab series, I think one of the most beautiful bottles out of the Pinhook collection. This is the Cask Strength finishing red wine barrels for $102.99. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof C924 for $83.99 next to Old Grandad Bonded and then Old Grandad 114. This is a solid one. I just recently did a video saying, you're looking to start a whiskey collection, but you only have $150. And there were quite a few comments that said, this one needs to be on that list, and I don't disagree. It is a fantastic one. It kind of introduces you to some higher proof offering stuff. Russell's Reserve Single Barrel Rye. We got Russell's Reserve Single Barrel. Honestly, most of these, every time that I've had them recently, are always a hit. This one is $66.99. It's also a solid price, 110 proof. So you're pretty much getting the same exact proof and essentially the same thing as a store pick, except a certain store did not get to choose this one. These are just the standard shelf offerings. Ben Holiday Soft Red Wheat Rickhouse Proof. Try to say that 5 times. $83.99 for that. Okay, this is Dark Arch Straight Bourbon Whiskey finished in Toasted Jewel Fleur French Oak Staves. Dark Arch 7.5 year straight bourbon whiskey. Dark Arch finished in Oloroso Sherry wine casks. Straight rye finished with toasted Ambarana oak staves. I have this one at home. Got some Crittenden stuff. You don't really see Crittendens too often just sitting out there, but this is finished in red wine barrels. Persimmon wood, that's the persimmon for 5 year, $73.99. Right next to it, we have the bottled and bond 4 year for $50.99, and then the Boo Rye Rue for $75.99. So up here, this is their barrel pick of the Dark Arts. I'm gonna try to find a bottle so we can talk about this one. Got a whole barrel of it. $94.99 store pick. This is a 7.5 year finish in white port wine cask, 109.8 proof. It's got a fantastic color on it. And now we're gonna go to a clip. I'm gonna try this at home because the store owner let me take one home for me to try. We'll cut to that clip. All right, so I got the barrel pick in hand like we're talking about in the store. And again, this is straight bourbon whiskey finished in port wine cask, 109.8 proof. We're gonna get a fresh crack and a taste. Let's do it. Ooh, that was a good one. I love the bottles and labels that Dark Arts comes out with. It is just really cool. If you see a guy, looks like a old wizard or something, holding up a Glencairn. This is really neat, really cool. Glass cork, it's pretty cool. This is a very citrus forward smelling whiskey. Lots of orange peel on this. You get some of that grape. It almost smells like when I was a kid and we used to drink the Welch's, like sparkling grape juice when everybody else was having champagne. That's kind of what this smells like to me. Does not smell like 109. Honestly, there's not a lot of ethanol to this one right here. Cheers. Hope you're enjoying the video so far. Whoa. This might be one of my favorite finished whiskeys I've had in a very long time. It reminds me a lot of what my buddies at Art of the Spirits are doing with some of their finishes. This is phenomenal, incredible. It almost tastes like a Tokai. I know it's a white port wine, but this tastes a lot like a Tokai finished barrel. This would pair very nicely with a cigar. A lot of dark fruits in this, like blackberry, blueberry, all mashed together, blended together. You add a little bit of alcohol to it, and it's pretty much like a cocktail in a glass. This is so nice. He did a great job with this one, man. This is really good. 7.5 year old too. So overall, I mean, it's got a beautiful color, and I think that really comes through on the taste, which is not often. Just because a whiskey looks dark doesn't mean that it's gonna have all this dark, nice complexity. This one, however, does. I'm a huge fan of it. This is a cool, great single barrel pick. It's pretty hard to find a store that does a great finish when they're doing single barrel picks. This is fantastic. Congrats to the Brasseux team for picking an amazing barrel. Let's get back to the video. So after having it, this is one that I really am a huge fan of. And I don't really say that often about finished whiskeys. It's really hard to, I think, perfect it. And I know that Dark Arch is the one that perfected it, but Brasseux did a great job picking it. They have it for $94.99. And there's another thing I wanted to show you. Also, just kind of want to show you around because it is pretty nuts, this store. The store owner here recently purchased a company that makes this, Syrup de Saison, and it is a simple syrup for old-fashioned cocktails made with pure cane sugar. It's pretty cool because you're using local ingredients and local companies supporting local. So if you like old fashions and everything, I just took one of these home yesterday. I hear nothing but great things about it. And this essentially just substitutes the sugar cube. When you're making your old fashioned, you put a little bit of this into your old fashioned. They even have a recipe on the side that you should follow to make yours. But I thought that was pretty cool, and it always feels good to support something local. And also, next spot is going to be a good one as well. Make sure you stay tuned for the next store. That was Brasseux Hardware. I don't know if I mentioned it, but this is a small town called Maurice, Louisiana. It's right outside of Lafayette city limits. Now we're going to be heading into Abbeville. This is again where I went to high school. If you watched the last video, you know. We're going to be heading to Abbeville. I'm actually going to get to meet and talk to the manager there. I'm very excited because last time he wasn't there. So we're going to go check that out, see what else they have on the shelves. If you did miss that video, you're in luck because we're going to show you the shelves again. We'll see you there. We're at Champagne's in Abbeville. We made it to our next stop for today's bourbon hunt. And when I was going to school in the town of Abbeville, this used to be Robbie's Market, and we'd pass it almost every day going to or from the baseball fields. But now at Champagne's, they got a killer selection. We'll see you inside. All right, we're going to start by showing you some of the picks that they still have available, and then we're going to go and taste some and then show you the regular shelf. But the representative, when we were here last, they said this was one of the most popular ones, and it looks like it because there ain't much left. Tumbling Dice. You don't really see much Tumbling Dice in the state of Louisiana at all, let alone picks, and this was hand selected by Champagne's of Abbeville. This one comes in at 120.4. That's pretty high for Tumbling Dice. I don't want to miss anything. We got Pinhooks. Huge fan of Pinhook. I'm very excited to try their Pinhook pick. This is a 5-year, and this comes in at $49.90. Dude, a sub $50 pick. Hard to find these days. Blue Note comes in at $51.99. Huge fan of the Blue Note uncut picks. The ones I've had in Colorado were absolutely fantastic. And again, you're coming around that point of like the $50 price range, which is very, very hard to find. Here's another brand that does it though. I think Champagne's is on to something. This Champagne's location for getting some affordable picks. This is a single barrel bourbon whiskey, aged bottled by Crittenden. This is his 5-year for $49.99. Wilderness Trail. I don't think at least I don't remember them having this one last time. That's actually a pretty cool number, 1111. 111.1 proof, Champagne's Barrel Select, $59.99. This is brand new to the store, I believe, as well, because this definitely was not. I think we were just talking to the store manager. We were here around December, I believe, but even since then, the channel has grown so much. Thanks to you guys. Make sure, if you're not already, subscribe and like this video as well. But this is a 1792 single barrel, and the price on this one is $44.99. Look at that. 44 bucks for a single barrel store pick. Pick affordable barrels, I like that. Crittenden's, this is, I believe, a double oak, $52.99, I believe is the price for this one. This is a single barrel bourbon whiskey double oak, 5-year double oak, coming in at 112.4 proof. If he has this one open, I will say this is the one that I'm most excited to try. I've been on a huge Crittenden's kick. When we went to the huge bourbon drop at Spillway, like I was just mentioning earlier in the video, I got to try all of his new SKUs, but the new pecan, the walnut, the Parkinson's bottle that came out, but I've never had a double oak from him, so I'm very, very curious about this one. Let's go try some of these picks. After that, we're gonna come check out the shelves. All right, so we made it to the room where we have some of the store pick samples. We're gonna try some of the ones that I pulled off here, and I'm very excited because they have all the ones that I was really looking forward to trying. Literally every pick. I'm gonna start out, your lowest proof one is probably gonna be the Crittenden's, or no, I guess single barrel, right? Single barrels normally come in 98.6 proof. This is the new single barrel pick from 1792 that the store selected themselves. Let's get into the single barrel. Smells like quintessential 1792. Got some peanut, a little bit of banana note to it. Sweet though, not a lot of burn. Again, we're sipping under 100 proof on this. That reminds me a lot of the 1792 12-year actually. Nice oak complexity to it, sweet caramel. Man, that is good. Under $50 too. That is really, really good. This is the representative. This is a straight bourbon whiskey. What's the one that they make that's a rye? Same company does rye. The Senator, that's right. Representative, this is one that one of the store managers or workers last time we were here said, very popular seller here in the store, 111.9 proof. I haven't had one of these in a very long time. Oh wow, got a little bit more spice on this one on the nose. I get like a butter popcorn on that, a little bit. Something buttery or something. It's pretty nice. That is really, really nice. Like a full body to it for only, I think it's 111 proof. You got a nice mouthfeel, like oily. Now honestly, you know what the closest thing I do remember this tasting like is? And I'm excited to try it next. Tumbling Dice. I like their stuff as well. Cool label, cool bottle, affordable whiskey. That's what I love. Heavy rye mash bill. So a little bit higher on the rye. Again, we were just talking in the video, you don't see Tumbling Dice that often spread out throughout the state, especially the picks. In most stores that I'm in, when we go to Baton Rouge, New Orleans, we were just up in Shreveport, I don't ever see tumbling dice. So they have quite a bit left. 120.4 proof mash bill on this one. 36 rye, 60 corn, 4 barley. Age a minimum of 6 years. That's pretty nice. So the youngest juice in here, age stated, is 6 years old. It's got my favorite nose, I think, out of the 3 we've had so far. I was talking to someone the other day, I don't even know if I've said this on a video yet. We were talking about picking barrels with someone, and they said that they only pick a barrel if it has a great nose. And I can understand. Bourbon, that's cool, it's a full experience, but at the end of the day, you're drinking it. And I think the taste and the finish are definitely by far the most important parts. And I want to even bring this up. We were just mentioning even JT Mellick. That was the one pick. When we went and did that pick, it was definitely the darkest color in the glass. Nose was not the best. I think it was my last, maybe second to last when it comes to nose. It just didn't have much going for it. It was ethanol burn. Whenever we tasted them all, it knocked everything out of the water. We'd almost be silly not to pick that just because it didn't have a good nose. But some people said, no, it has to have a great nose if I'm gonna drink it or pick it. I'm like, okay. But this is a great nose. Back full circle to this. This reminds me, high rye, this reminds me of a good wheated bourbon. Like a full-bodied wheated bourbon. It is sweet, it's nice. It's got a long finish to it, and it's 120 proof. Does not sip at 120 proof at all. This is really good. Proof and wood. Distilled in Indiana. So, okay, I guess we were mentioning just MGP just now. The representative, that was a killer bottle too. Them and Pinhook, because all the Tumbling Dice single barrels that I've had have never ever disappointed me. I have one at home that was like, it had a nutty profile. I said reminded me of like a peanut butter and jelly. Let's go right in. Let's stick with MGP. We're gonna go with the Pinhook 5-year now. The only other store that I've had was actually, I don't think the stores are related, but Sean Pines and Karen Crow had a purple top as well that he was able to do. It's like syrup. You don't, not the pancakes with it, but you do get some syrupy, maple syrup, I don't know, no, it's nice. I don't know which one I'd be able to choose in a blind between this and that Tumbling Dice. This sips even lighter than the Tumbling Dice, and they're around the same proof. There's 121 proof on the dot. I almost said, without even looking at the proof, almost said that'd be a great, fantastic one to get someone into whiskey, like single barrel picks or something like that. And that's 120 proof. That's crazy. That's really good. I couldn't tell you which one out of the tumbling in that. And they're both MGP though. Okay, Blue Note. I mean, these juke joint Blue Notes are something that, another one that never let me down. This one, the Tumbling Dice, that's one thing I can say. Every pick that this store has, safe. Like you're not gonna be let down, at least for me in my experience. I've never been let down by any of them that I've had, whether it's a Pinhook, a Tumbling Dice, a Blue Note. 1792, I can say. Sometimes I've been let down, but you're not gonna be with this one. I might have to go back to that one before we end, because I do think that one holds up to all of these for being under 100 proof. It was fantastic. Have you heard the story about the tornado survivors? I think it was. One of their warehouses, tornado went through it, and they were left in a field for weeks or months. I don't remember. They found these barrels, went and tried them, and they made it a whole thing, tornado survivor. This is 117 proof. This is icing on funfetti cake. That's exactly what this smells like confectionery sugar. Whoa, that is sweet. This is, like he said, pancakes and syrup. Oh man, that's good. And then finishes too at the very end with like barrel characteristic, maybe a little bit of that peanutty profile, but in the beginning. I think this is one. We need to make this a thing on the channel. Every now and then when I'll have something that just keeps changing, we call it a roller coaster pour, because it'll just keep changing its course. And in the beginning, it was that sweet confectionery sugar icing, and then you pointed out with the pancakes, it tasted just like that. And at the very end, you get something that's like a little bit of peanut brittle or something. It's nice. This is a roller coaster pour, a monster bottle for the price too. Y'all did a great job with this one. This is the one that I said in the video I am most excited for. Like I said, I've been on a huge Crittenden's kick. Look at that color. And I've been loving his stuff. I've never had a double oak product from Matt. This is a 5-year, 112 proof, double oaked Crittenden's. Also, I have a fun story for you. Matt, if you're watching, I think this is hilarious, but any of his wax, he does not have pull tabs. You have to have a knife to pull this. Somebody had mentioned, a lot of people talk about it. They're like, dude, the wax is horrible, this and that. Matt came out and said, if you don't have a knife, but you want to drink my whiskey, then don't drink my whiskey, is what he said. If you want to buy my whiskey, but you don't carry a knife on you, don't drink my whiskey. That's funny. And I like that. Yeah, sticking with his guns. Man, I guess my nose hairs are just fried at this point. I just smell goodness. It's as good as everything else. It's just got that double oak craft funk to it. Every craft distillery, I've talked about this in videos before, has their own funk. It's not a bad thing, It just makes it unique to what that is. And I hope that if any of these, and I could see Crittenden's being a really, really well-known product and massive one day. I hope that they never lose that funk that makes them. Like, I think Jim Beam has that peanut butter, very nutty profile that some people love, some people hate. Turkey has that dusty note that people say all the time. Heaven Hill, another one that kind of is in between, like a dusty and nutty profile. This is just like a, I don't know how you explain it. It's really hard to explain because I think not enough people have had it yet to kind of give it its own term, but that is delicious. This is really good. Matt did a good job. Last pick, and then we're gonna go see the shelves, is 126.9 proof, Jack Daniel's single barrel proof. Hayden, you bought this one last time. You said you loved it. He actually, I think, finished it by now, which is rare. Hayden doesn't drink a whole lot when he's at his house. He just comes to my house and drinks all of my shit. So he chugged this bottle though. It's pretty much gone. I'm excited to see what he thinks about it and taste it, because he said it was really good. Smells like quintessential good old Jack Daniel's barrel proof. Got a banana note to it. See if you smell banana, Grant. To me, it smells like a banana nut bread. I always get a lot of banana off of them. And Old Forester, that's another one, Old Forester. They got a banana note to them that's like quintessential to them. Also, you guys need to check on the warehouses here on the side. If that shows, I think that's barrel or warehouse 228. Yeah, 228. If you check on them, I don't know off the top of my head, but Google which ones are Coy Hill warehouses. A lot of times you'll have a store that'll get a Coy Hill pick. All Coy Hill is the tallest point. It's literally a big hill at the warehouse where they age barrels, so you might be able to find a Coy Hill single barrel pick around your area. I don't know how Jack Daniel's does it. Maybe it's the process that they go through that is different from everybody else, but none of their whiskeys, maybe one or two, I shouldn't say none, maybe one or two of their whiskeys only sip hot. The rest of them sip well below proof, and it's hard to believe. It's one of those whiskeys where you double back and say, what proof was it? Like, this is 126 proof? It doesn't sip anywhere near it. It probably sips at like 105, and I know my palate's a little warmed up, but that is a fantastic Jack Daniel's single barrel. They never let me down. That's another one that never lets me down. The only one on the table that we've ever had that let me down was a 1792, but this one did not. This was great. All right, let's go look at the shelves. Now we're gonna show you some of the regular shelves. I had a great tasting. Grant over here was smelling some of the things. That was a fun time. We got to see some stuff that, you know, normally you don't get to see, so I really appreciate that. But starting out, this is one, Cedar Ridge Barrel Proof. I actually bought this. This is batch one. Last time we were here, I bought this bottle and I was a huge fan of it. And a lot of people were saying, good job buying that one. And you were right, it was fantastic. But that's batch one right there. Traveler Whiskey, $31.49 right there. You got a couple, I don't think I've ever had any of this stuff right here. It does remind me of the Doc Holliday label, the red line. I'm not, like I said, not familiar with it, but the cash rings, $70.29. The experimental cask, $92.99, $68.99 for the cash ring. I'm guessing rye, let's see. Yep, rye. If you had any of these, let me know. A couple of the, oh, that one's stacked. A couple of the New Riff stuff, the New Riff products that they have here, right here. Coming on the side, they have a really big selection and it's kind of spread out. But coming out to the side here, this is an end cap here. Anything here that interests you or catches your eye, let me know. This one kind of catches my eye. Let's see. Some Scotch stuff, if you're a Scotch fan. Down here, we were just talking a good bit about Jefferson's. Jefferson's Tropics, look, $99.99 they have it for, save $5, so it's on sale. I was just talking to the manager here. I found this so cool. I was just last week in Colorado with the Jefferson's founder and owner, and I asked him, is Tropics just a gimmick or is it a legit thing? I asked him about that and the ocean. So Jefferson's Tropics is actually aged for 11 months in Singapore, which is notoriously known as one of the most hot and humid climates throughout the entire year. So I thought that was pretty cool. It's actually aged in Singapore. All their barrels, he actually goes to Singapore once a year to taste everything and try it. Jefferson's Ocean, aged at sea. There's different voyages, different batches, and I know there's a huge fan base. There's a lot of people that don't like it, and I feel like a lot of people that don't like it maybe don't know. Jefferson's Ocean actually spends another year on sea, going to all the ports. I couldn't even name the ports, but all around the world, and then it comes back. And he showed me a picture of what it looks like before they add any water to it to proof it down, whatever it may be, and it's black. You cannot see through it at all. So I think it's just cool. It's really not a gimmick. I guess that's what I'm saying is I found out it's not a gimmick. Down here you have some 291 stuff. The small batch Colorado rye, the Colorado bourbon. This is the barrel proof single barrel. Both of these for $99.99. Next to it, Larceny barrel proof for $69.99. And then you have Calumet Farms. This is one that's not very common to see. The 14, 15, 16. 16 is 130, 15, 120, 14, 113. I don't know if I've seen a 14 that often, ever, actually. Then you have the Prideful Goat 15 year. They have it on sale for $176, so you're saving yourself about 37 bucks on that. Buffalo Trace, $25.49 here. Got quite a few cases of it here. It's still crazy to me that a lot of places in different cities don't see regular Buffalo Trace that often. The entire Benchmark lineup right here, full proof 22, bonded 19, single barrel 25, small batch 15, top floor 14. This is the cheapest prices I've seen in quite a few weeks, if not months, of the Benchmark products. That's great prices on that. We just had this upstairs, the Sean Pine's barrel pick of the Jack Daniels for $58.99. Again, that's a sub $60 bottle. I'm sure after taxes it'll come over 60, but this is a fantastic one. I didn't try the Woodford Double Oak, but I mean, you really can't go wrong with that. Wilderness Trail single barrel, was a huge fan. They got the Representative and the Tumbling Dice. Crittenden's Double Oak, Pinhook, that's their single barrel pick. And look at all these signed bottles. That is just insane. From K. Luke of Jonathan Mazzano, came in here and signed them. A few of the Buzzard's Roost offerings, I'm really not sure which ones are good or not. If you know, let me know. And then we just came here right before we did the tasting. These are all their barrel picks, but we're gonna show you the regular shelf here. So they have some Corazon finishing Blanton's barrels. They have some Corazon finishing William LaRue Weller barrels, if you're interested. Heaven Hill Granite Glass, this is the rye. I'm a big fan of the wheated and the bourbon. The rye was probably like, if I had to rank it, it would go rye, bourbon, wheated #1. But they do have a couple of those here. You just don't see that often in the city. The Mothman, they have some Bottled and Bond rye from Crittenden's for 40 bucks. That's a great price. Evan Williams single barrels right here. This is 2016 batches. Widow Jane Decadence. This one right here is $93.99. Normally you see those for 100 bucks, so you're saving some money there. I just tried this upstairs, the 15 year for $249. Also, this is something we haven't talked about in the last video, but they have a pretty decent selection of cigars. One that I'll point out, if you see this right here, the Weller Cohiba boxes are right here for $30.99 each. Grant, you like cigars. You liked, where are they? Right here, the Catch 22s Toro by Rock. So you like the Rocky Patels, they're about $5 a piece. Look at how big that one is. $7, look at that. That is nuts how big it is. This, everything else you see behind me is all pretty much their regular selection, to include back here, all regular standard selection, non-barrel picks and not on the end cap. So let's get to it. 9-year Pinhook, $82.99, fantastic bottle. 8-year, the rye for both of these, $69.99. They have a collab series here. This is something that, I mean, it's just crazy. I think this is another one of those, just like Gardier's Meat Market, a hidden gem. 119 proof, 121.2 proof. Both are 160. I'm staring at 2 Maker's Mark Slam Dunks, cash rings. That's pretty crazy too. You don't see those that often, especially 2 at one store. They got Maker Mark cash ring Slam Dunks. Larceny, this is a batch, B524 for $69.99. Bowman Brothers small batch. You got the Dark Arch finish in Ambarana, that's a rye. We pulled this out earlier, I'm not gonna pull it again because it's kind of wrapped in the plastic, but $236.99 for Armagnac Domaine, I'm not even saying it, I can't even pronounce it. Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel for $55. You got Elijah Craig Barrel Proof A125, so that's a newer batch, for $84. Charles Goodnight, shout out to Cardnotics from New York, Jacob's Park, and a couple things. Woodford Double Oak Pick along with their Jack Pick. They got 4 Square on the shelf, 2011 for $109. All of the new Jack releases that came out, I think in like 2023, if not 2024, those are there right there. And then behind the shelf here, Grant, if you don't mind showing us, Screaming Titan, $69.99. That's Redwood Empire Screaming Titan. All the Horse Soldier lineup pretty much. You got some Wilderness Trail, both the bourbon and the rye. A couple more Crittenden's Boo Rye Roost, $64.99 right here. Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit. Dude, I was struggling to find that. And I know I've said that in a couple of videos, but they got a Kentucky Spirit for $64.99 Rare breed is $63.99. McKenna 10, that's, again, I think last time we came, that is a cheap price, $56.99. Normally McKenna is 60 plus for that. Crown Blackberry, any of you fans, they got Crown Blackberry. They got a Smoke Wagon Private Barrel Select for $79.99. That is the cheapest that I have ever seen a Smoke Wagon Private Barrel here at Champagne. Someone pointed out they got the, I think it's called the 10 Types Old Soul for $127.99 as well. And then down there, kind of hidden, Still Austin Bottled and Bond Blue Corn Batch 1 for $70.99. That's age 4 years. Now we're moving on to 5 years. And I think next year we're gonna hit 6 year. But that is the pretty cool to see because they don't sell Still Austin Blue Corn all over the place here. That ends it for today's video. We just left Champagne's and we had some phenomenal picks. I told the manager there, I think what's really cool is they're picking like budget-friendly single barrel picks, which you don't see often. All those are fantastic. I told him, I said, look, after the video is posted, I'll come back, whatever's left, I might grab a few of, because they were all equally as good. I'm a big fan of all of them. But this was Champagne's here. We got to take some things off camera. It was fantastic. Thank these guys for having us. Thank you to Brasseux for having us as well. I'll definitely be back to both of them. We got to spread them out a little bit more so you guys have some more content from other cities, states, whatever it may be. If there's a city or state that you'd recommend, please let me know down in the comments or have that store reach out to me via email. That'd be great. Make sure you like, subscribe, check out our Patreon. We got barrel picks coming non-stop, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.